Alright, hey, this is Derek with the Watership Sound. I'm here with Reni, and we're going to be talking about the in-depth details of the Boss DD-7 digital delay pedal. It's backwards to you right now, but that's okay. The DD-7 comes standard with the 9-volt input. You can use the Daisy jumper cables for that, or if you want to invest the extra $20, you can buy the AC adapter for it. Please use the adapter, not batteries. We're trying to save the environment. You have the input A, input B, and then, yeah, I might fuck that up pretty good. You got input A, input B, and then the expression pedal on the one side. Input A is the mono, and that's going to be like your direct wet. That's going to be affected signal. Input B is for stereo. It's going to be more dry. And the expression pedal is going to change the delay times. On the other side over here, you've got outputs A and B, and that again is just one's mono, and that's your wet signal, and the other one's stereo, and that's going to be your dry signal. The 4 knobs that we have is the effect level, and that's going to change the amount of, I guess, presence of the delays. Except for in the reverse setting mode, I find that what it does is mix the dry signal with the wet. If you have it all the way up, you'll lose your dry signal, and you'll only have the wet reverse delay, which makes some pretty neat sounds. Then you have feedback. That's the number of delays that are going to hit once it has a signal. If you turn this all the way up, you will get some really nasty and really amazing feedback sounds. It just gets crazy, but you might blow a speaker. Delay time changes the amount of time between the signal put in and what's delayed, so that effectively increases the length of the individual delay. And if you want to have just like slap back delays, you would turn it towards the minimum side, which makes sense. And if you wanted a more longer drawn out delay that sounds like, you know, you have a second guitar playing right behind you, you'd have towards the maximum. And then the mode is going to be where you get all your interesting delay sounds at. I cannot keep this thing held up under the thing. Wow. You got 32 milliseconds. That's for really long drawn out delays. Kind of trippy. It's kind of neat. The next one would be the 800 milliseconds. It's kind of cool too. Then 200 milliseconds and 50 milliseconds, it's shorter delay. So, I mean, as you go down, it just gets shorter and it's more slapback. Like on the other end, it's more like having a second guitar right behind you. Where it gets interesting is the hold function. And the hold function is exactly how it sounds. What you would do is you go into hold function, tap down, and it records a segment of what you're playing up to 40 seconds. And then it just loops it over and over. And then you can stack more and more sounds on top of that. So you could effectively end up with an entire guitar orchestra just from the hold function on here. I mean, in theory. Analog is my favorite. It's just like old school analog delay. Modulate is really interesting too. It sounds like there's a chorus applied only to the delay and not the rest of the signal. So you get like this warble in your delays, and it sounds kind of like your delays are coming off of like an old vinyl. Reverse delay is the most psychedelic trippy thing on this pedal. It's exactly how it sounds. What it does is it takes the signal that you're delaying and then plays it backwards. If you have it up, the level up really high and the delay time set really long, and you do a bunch of slides, it'll sound like the dry signal sliding to wherever it's supposed to go, and then the delayed will sound like it slides the opposite way and then back up really fast. So it's a neat sound, but we're going to go ahead and punch around and experiment with it because that's what it's all about. Okay, so now we're going to go over some of the fine tunings of the Boss DD-7 digital delay. Just to touch back again, we have level, feedback, delay time, and then mode. We're going to start off in the 3200 millisecond setting and just go over that. Right now I've got everything set up right in the middle just for like a across the board general sound. So Reni, go ahead and give us some signal. We're going to be playing on a Fender Telecaster through a Crate GX130C, and that's running a Fender 412 cab. So you can kind of hear how with the longer delay in the 3200 millisecond setting, it sounds like there's another guitar playing right behind what Reni's playing. So if you build your songs right you can play a melody, have your delay carry that melody, and then harmonize with that for a little bit, which would make a really interesting sound. What we're going to do now is increase the level of it just to get a little bit more presence out of that delay. I'm going to put it at max just to show you what it's like full capacity. See, it sounds just a little bit louder than the original signal. And then now we'll take the feedback down. What that does, all the way at minimum, it gives you one feedback. And then when you increase it to the maximum, we'll get some sounds. You hear whenever that feedback's up all the way, how it just keeps stacking and stacking. It's almost like it just keeps delaying the same thing over and over, similar to the hold function, kind of. Alright, now this will be fun. The delay time you can tweak around with while you're playing, and it makes some interesting sounds. So go ahead, Ren. See how increasing the delay time makes it so that you can play a longer phrase and it'll delay more of that back, as opposed to playing a longer phrase and it starts to delay too early. Now this is what it sounds like whenever the delay time is all the way down. Go ahead, Ren. You hear how it's quick like that? Sometimes that's cool too. But so that's the 3200 millisecond feature.